Chang, I think I have something on our secret admirer. Group called Samizdat. Mean anything to you?
You mean those conspiracy nuts? Very bad for business. How much do they know?
Not sure. Good news is I got an exact location.
Find out whatever you can. What they know, what they want. If they blow the task force's cover, it's only a matter of time before someone blows up the task force.
Don't worry, Chang. I don't want the walls coming down just yet.
Lots of reports of suspicious activity lately.
Right.
Nice time for a walk.
I just hope when it's over, you'll leave
Když se podívám, co tady ty augové napáchají.
Population of 800 people, but here things are more spread out.
I couldn't believe it when I saw the test results.
Spanish so much history here.
I couldn't imagine what it's like to be augmented.
bad enough when it was just drugs.
I heard a bunch of runaways live down in the sewers. Formed their own little community.
Sorry, I cannot help.
Warm thoughts. Think warm thoughts.
Lucky to have this fire. Might freeze to death.
I'm telling you, I hear whispers in the wall.
You sure it's not in your head, brother?
Computers don't hear it.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard sister airlines flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane cockpit.
Don't shoot!
Shit.
We're journalists!
Who invited the agent type?
Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? You here because of the Dubai story? The article about the Moonbase? The clones on the Moonbase? Who sent you?
I'm here for Sam's dad. You in charge?
I take charge, but I'm not in charge, man. No one owns or dictates the truth. Freedom of information is a collective right, man, and a collective responsibility. That said, you gonna break someone's nose? You break my nose.
I didn't come here to break anything. I just need you to cooperate.
I spent my 20s in a commune, man. I'm all about cooperation.
Good. It's about something you've been looking into. It's making some people nervous. What do you know about Praha Dovos?
Oh, that little import company? I know there's more than boxes in the basement. We've seen agent types come in and out. The place is a curtain. The first in a series of many. Pull them all back and you'll find... Damn. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's a dead end.
Right. Guys like you always come down here because of dead ends.
Fine. Then what if it's something other people are already looking into? If someone like you makes too much noise, that may compromise any chance they have of uncovering something bigger. Do you understand?
I'm supposed to believe we're colleagues now? You men in black types, you walk into Pike's newsroom, tell them to be hush-hush about something, and they do it. But that's not how it works here. One day, you will all be exposed. If not by me, then someone just like me. Samizdat isn't one voice. K isn't one man.
What did you mean when you said K wasn't one man?
K is an ideal, the intangible leader of tangible resistance. You can kill me, but then little K would become K. Kill little K and Bones over there becomes K. There's always a K.
And what if you kill Bones?
You can't kill Bones, man. Bones isn't real. I think he was one of them. He was supposed to be a prince of Belgium, man, but then he broke his condition. We found him inside this fucking cult, all confused, so we reprogrammed him with the truth.
Right. Suppose I needed to make a deal with Samizdat. There's no one person I can talk to?
Depends on the deal. I mean, there's always going to be an editor. Editor makes the final call on all published material. That would be me.
So you could ensure that something doesn't get talked about?
Depends on the deal.
I need you to stop looking into Praha Dovos, but not for the reason you assume.
Relax, I get it. You don't think I do, but I do. You've got to appease your military industrial masters. We've all been there, man.
I'm not who you think I am. The kinds of people who manipulate the news, who cover things up. You don't need to convince me that's who the enemy is.
The enemy is anyone who conceals the truth. And that's exactly what you're asking me to do. To pretend like that little import company isn't hiding something.
I'm asking you to see a difference between conspiracy and discretion. Between people who hide information in order to push their own agendas and those who need to stay off the radar in order to do their jobs. You, of all people, should understand.
Okay. Okay, look. You seem like a reasonable guy, huh? Hell, I've usually been punched by now. I find this refreshing. Here's the deal. We promise to forget all about Praha Dovos and stay out of your way as long as you give us something better.
What do you suggest?
The only thing I hate more than secret organizations are toothless media conglomerates who don't hold anyone accountable, who spit lie after lie after lie. So I propose a trade. There are places my people can't get into. You get into one of those places and find me some dirt on the real enemy here. Picus Media. Do that, and I'll cut whatever you want me to cut. Who knows? Maybe you'll even learn something.
All right, what do you want to know about Picus?
I want skeletons! The kind that companies like Picus come all the way to Prague just to bury. Corporate archiving, man.
Corporate archiving, huh? You asking me to break into a bank?
I'm not talking vaults here. Ashani Talva, the Palisade CEO, she leverages her clients, keeps information about them close at hand. She's got something on Picus, I know it. I just can't get to it, but I bet you could. You poke into her office, find something that proves how nasty Picus is, how much they love to piss on the truth, and I promise you this. I'll misplace any file you want.
I'll look into it. In the meantime, don't publish anything until I get back.
Don't worry. Oh, and while you're there, feel free to snoop around. Who knows what else you might learn.
We'll see.
Thanks to the horror of the Illuminati and their humanity-run puppets, unleashed on the Earth that day. I'm taking the time in this broadcast to remember drugs fit together and viable platforms. I lost people too, and they should never be.
I finally got through to my contact in the trade office. He says to fuck off.
Keep crying, folks. Keep giving them help.
We hated the commies and the commies hated us. How they had a way of life that we couldn't fucking stand, and it was only a matter of time before they swallowed us up with their ideology and technological superiority. Underground websites and radio stations continue to praise the Juggernaut Collective, an elusive group of vigilante hackers for exposing big money corruption. What these journalists overlook, however, is the damage these hackers leave in their wake. Last year, the collective shut down London's traffic grid, causing gridlock for hours and preventing life-saving medical transports from getting through. In Chile, they committed massive voter fraud when they rigged the electronic voting system and elected a 12-year-old boy as president. In Russia, hacked combat drones attacked St. Petersburg. And in the US, civilians lost their jobs when the collective decided to protect them, causing several Fortune 500 companies to go bankrupt. Between you and me, the collective is one of the most dangerous
I sent the picture to the police.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Grazie do golemo.
What's going on? What are the charges? Don't believe me. No, I was speaking literally. He never shit in his life. Hmm? No. You're responsible and you're not supposed to help him become a goddamn junkie. You're supposed to help him.
What today?
No. No way.
Městu vládne.
What today?
I don't like being this close to the cash
kind of thing.
I'm afraid of what might happen.
Sir, I love working in Open, but those cargo security people...
What's going on? No trouble, right?
Stock market took a huge hit after the bomb, but the recovery has...
Ewing is not acting like his mom. Ever since the power changed like I've been so angry with Rob.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Palisade. May I help you?
Not sure. Never been to a property bank?
I see. Well, we are the premier secure corporate archive in the world. We offer a number of services, including ultra-secure corporate vaults, as well as executive safes for smaller accounts. Exclusivity, anonymity, and security are the cornerstones and our greatest selling point.
Makes sense that security is a major concern for your clients.
Oh, yes. Everything at Palisade is state-of-the-art. Security measures are audited regularly, and Tavos is a very well-respected private security firm. Would there be anything else?
How big are the corporate vaults? Doesn't seem like this building would hold that many.
Oh, quite big, in fact. We call them container vaults, like shipping containers. Our storage facility is actually right under our feet. Quite an impressive sight.
Underground, makes sense. Great security feature.
Absolutely. In addition, they are only visited by appointment and require the use of a client's keycard to access.
So this is a data haven?
Well, we don't use that term here, but yes. We archive highly sensitive materials and documents for some of the most powerful businesses and people in the world. No worries about corporate espionage here.
Or government subpoenas.
Our international clientele do tend to disagree with the stance of their local governments as it pertains to corporate rights, let's say.
So they take advantage of this country's more pro-business legislation?
Mm-hmm. I suppose that's one way of looking at it, if you were a cynic. I prefer to think that our clients shouldn't have to deal with small-minded anti-capitalist bureaucracies if they can avoid it.
Your executive safes are available to anyone?
Well, we do have an exclusive clientele, and the application process is rigorous. Despite this, almost all our safes are currently occupied.
Your client list must be very impressive.
It is. Mostly they are held by executives from our client companies, but some select individuals have been approved as well.
But with the same high security standards, I hope.
Oh, of course. And access to the executive safe room is restricted. Clients must use their assigned personalized keycards to gain entry.
That's all? Sounds a little simple.
It's a little bit more involved. The keycard also switches off all automated security measures within the vault. Lasers and sentries and the like. All very high-tech.
I think I'd like to see the account manager.
I'm sorry, Mr. Romanek is unavailable at the moment.
Thanks for the information.
Of course it's easier. That's the policy, right? Of course there's privacy laws and bulletproof.
Millions of people lost their lives to malfunctioning augmentation. Opponents of the legislation have been protesting all over the world, and many of the protests have turned violent. This escalation in the violence and rhetoric has only widened the gap and polarized the dialogue on both sides of the issue. We will be watching the UN closely for any break in the story. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you, live from Picus.
They may have batteries, but we've got this. Ashanti energy drinks. For all you need to get through this. Ashanti.
No augmented security at the start. All over.
several companies to go bankrupt. Between you and me, folks, the Collective is one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world, despite whatever praises the underground media wants to sing. This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Ariel is constantly bringing you the best and latest technology. Our portable data solutions have massive storage capacity, flexible screens, and 1,000 other unique and patented features. Ariel, up in the stratosphere. Back to New York, and a more in-depth look at UN Security Council Resolution 3507, also known
Stay true.
in the hands of irresponsible journalists, it can be. Augmented Rights Coalition took up residence in the neighboring hospital complex. Dr. Rucker claims his organization is peaceful and merely seeks to ensure the rights of the augmented. Last year, the Collective shut down London's traffic grid, causing gridlock for hours and preventing life-saving medical transports from getting through. In Chile,
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
And in the U.S., millions of workers lost their jobs. We will be watching the UN closely for any break in the story. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you, live, from Picus.
They may have batteries, but we've got this. Ashanti energy drinks. For all you need to get through the day. Ashanti.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sista Airlines Flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane's cockpit and ruthlessly butchered its flight crew. Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree, causing the greatest loss of life in recent history. I cannot speak for you folks, but terrifying memories of that day still haunt me. It will certainly be a while before any of us forget it. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you live. Icus.
Exclusivity. Anonymity. Security. These are the greatest concerns of the digital age, and we at Palisade Property Bank have made addressing those concerns priority one. Information archived within the walls of Palisade Property Bank is beyond the legal jurisdiction of any government. Assured anonymity. Palisade Bank Corporation is now and forever will be.
Our freedom? In the hands of irresponsible journalists, it can be. Underground websites and radio stations continue. Juggernaut Collective, an elusive group of vigilante hackers, for exposing big money corruption. What these journalists overlook, however, is the damage these hackers leave in their wake. Last year, the Collective shut down London's traffic grid, causing gridlock for hours and preventing life-saving medical transports from getting through. In Chile, they committed massive voter fraud when they rigged the electronic voting system and elected a 12-year-old boy as president. In Russia, combat drones attacked St. Petersburg. And in the U.S., millions of workers lost their jobs when the Collective leaked classified corporate documents, causing several Fortune 500 companies to go bankrupt. Between you and me, folks, the Collective is one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world, despite whatever praises the underground media wants to sing. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you live from Picus.
Ariel is constantly bringing you the best and latest technology. Our portable data solution has massive storage capacity, flexible streams, and over 1,000 other
polarize the dialogue on both. We will be watching the UN closely for any break in the story. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you, live, from Picus.
They may have batteries, but we'll get through the day. Ashanti.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sista Airlines Flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane's cockpit and ruthlessly butchered its flight crew. Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree, causing the greatest loss of life in recent history. I cannot speak for you folks, but terrifying memories of that day still haunt me. It will certainly be a while before any of us forget it. This is Eliza Kazan, reporting to you.
These are the greatest concerns of the digital age, and we at Palisade Property Bank have made addressing those concerns priority one. Information archived within the walls of Palisade Property Bank is beyond the legal jurisdiction of any government.
think I heard something. Cover my post.
Set to debate the Human Restoration Act in a matter of weeks. Could the good doctor be changing his tune? Your guess is as good as mine. This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you from Picus. High and impartial reporting. And now for
Move to patrol. Narrow. Narrow pattern. Confirmed.
Narrow pattern. Confirmed.
Please see the receptionist.
He's taken away everything.
Hello.
Talk to me.
Why didn't you go check if she's
They may call it a new world order, but we all know it has been going on for a long, long time.
I'm on the hill.
Only a few. Mostly in the poorer parts of town. I suppose the police don't mind if they refuse.
Disgusting.
I don't want any
I
trouble.
hope not.
Is it benign?
This can't be happening to me.
You make me sick.
out anything on Picus?
I think I found the kind of information you're looking for.
All right. Inspire me.
A commercial airliner went down recently, over an ionospheric research facility. Plane went down because of whatever the military was doing there, not because of some augmented passenger like Picus claims.
Shit, man! This is it! This is headline fucking material! You did good, man! Real good! Anything else?
Here. Picus knew all about a recent chemical spill, and what it did to the water supply. They warned their own people, but not the public at large.
Better to risk people's health than to threaten social order. This is good, very good. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's cool, man. This should be more than enough. Okay, Bones has been typing up a storm already. We pulled all our Picus theories together and laid out some preliminaries. If you did your job right, this should help fill in the blanks.
So we're done here.
Almost. We need to make sure this issue gets the publicity it deserves. There's a city information hub we want you to hack. It's on your way out, I promise.
And then you forget all about Praha Dovos.
Praha who?
In the US, millions of workers lost their jobs when the collective leaked classified corporate documents, causing several social problems to go bankrupt.
Chang, you there?
What do you got for me?
Took care of Samizdat. No one's going to be reading anything about us anytime soon.
Oh, I'll cancel the movers. How'd you do it?
I've reasoned with them. They're not going to give us any trouble.
Reasoned? With the conspiracy nuts.
I know what I'm doing.
My.
Who listens to that garbage?
You would rather listen to that mouth?
What's this?
I've been trying to get a hold of that.
Centralo, všude klid.
Just make it through this shift.
No, no more. I don't care what you do. They don't care. Cryptic
Vážně jsme k ničemu.
Kdybys letěla do Ománu,
Zartu.
by to nikdy neviděla.
I'm going to get the police if this continues.
Nice jacket, asshole.
Jasně, tak
Na radar, stay quiet.
Access granted.
Okay, you there?
Who is this? How'd you get this number?
I did what you asked. Samizdat should have no problem getting its message out now. You remember our deal?
Oh, yeah. I don't compromise whatever little game you're playing over at that import company.
Try to keep a low profile. If Picus wasn't gunning for you before, they will be now.
Don't worry. Just make sure you remember who the good guys are.
Na radar, stay quiet. Here we go. He had his papers
I'm
and
watching.
but the police still pulled him off.
If the private sector pays double.
Seems like everyone.
Fine.
The shopkeeper was late on his protection payments, so my client beat him to death with a baseball bat. In front of
I
a
don't
cop?
know.
How do you want
You
to
interested
in
in
that
some
one?
hacking software, maybe?
I don't have to. I don't know how. With a knife on the client first, and during the altercation, the knife fell through a
Hey,
sewer grate.
you! We got multi-tools for sale inside.
Your client.
Over here, friend. I have what you need. Welcome, welcome.
Nice gear you've got here.
All high-end. And you look like you know high-end. Which biotech did your job? Not Isolate. They don't come in black.
You try this on all your customers?
Just the ones made of carbon fiber. As one enthusiast to another, you can tell me.
Gonna have to disappoint you.
Maybe you can make it up to me. You look like the kind of man who might have access to breach software.
That stuff's illegal.
Come on, man, don't play around. You know why it's illegal. You know the world governments don't want us to find out their dirty secrets. But we will, and you can help us. Be part of the revolution. Anyway, just think about it. All the details are in the computer. Want to have a look? To sell or to buy?
Sure.
Great. Go ahead. That's awesome. Seen it all before, haven't you?
This is Eliza
Nothing for me.
So long, Mr. Mirror Shades.
Anonymity, security. These are the greatest concerns.
Hey, you! We got multi-tools for sale inside.
Can't be valuable that kind of thing.
Nothing suspicious here.
Like I'm always telling you, Rado, people in old country are more genuine. They treat each other with respect. If a man has something to say, he says it to your face. Politely. That is what...
Go away, Clegg. We're closed.
Oh, he is not here to gamble, Vano. Are you?
You're Otar?
I am Mr. Botkovelli, yes. And who are you?
I'm here on behalf of a concerned third party.
Oh, you hear that, Vano? Our guest is a very private person.
I found it pays to be cautious when you don't know exactly who you're dealing with.
That is true. But sometimes it can create problems which could have been avoided had they been more forthcoming. If neither man is willing to compromise, they cannot reach a satisfactory understanding.
I would like to avoid any misunderstandings.
Good. So in this case, since you already know my name, and no doubt other things about me, I think you owe me the same courtesy.
I think the best way to describe me is a troubleshooter and a friend of Vaclav Koller. He tells me you have a shipment for him, so I figured I'd do him a favor and pick it up.
Look, Vado. The man who still believes in dealing honestly. But only up to a point. Koller must have told you that I refused to give him the calibrator. You know, dealing with logs these days is bad business. How desperate Koller must be to send someone like you. And the answer is still no.
I'm here because there are certain ideals like friendship and keeping one's word that are worth any risk. You look like the kind of man who understands that.
You remember, Vano? When I told you that nobody knows what loyalty means anymore? Some people still do. So tell me, Mr. Friendship, how far are you willing to go to help out a friend in need?
If someone needs my help, I give it. Any way I can.
It is like I am always telling him you can get a lot accomplished just by having a conversation. I will let you have the calibrator.
Thanks. And what's it gonna cost me?
Listen to the man, Vano. Even when he gets what he wants, he does not trust it. What shall we do with such a man? What will it cost? A favor.
What kind of favor?
Don't worry. I will let you know in due time. It won't be too painful. Not for you. What do you say? Do we have a deal, Mr.
Jensen, we have a deal.
Excellent. Upstairs in my office, you will find Collar's calibrator. I will be in touch.
What if I get some disease?
Yeah? Last year, the collective shut down.
All right, Kohler. I've got your neuroplasticity calibrator.
That's great! I'm gonna pencil you in for that optimization procedure. Just as soon as I'm done with this house call.
What house call?
I got this other client, you know, doesn't like to be kept waiting.
Neither do I, Kohler. Call me when you're ready.
Like being so close to one of them.
And in the U.S.,
Yeah.
millions of workers lost their jobs when the collective leaked classified corporate documents, causing several Fortune 500 companies to go bankrupt.
Сирены подгоды.
Stay back.
Блин.
Now I know why they chopped off your hands.
Phrases the underground media wanted to sing. This is a live cassette. Live. I guess Ariel is constantly bringing.
Боссом шутки-пулки, да?
He is a guest. For now.
Just now.
Can't defend against that kind of thing.
Are you telling me you don't think they should all be moved there? No.
I used to love going in there as a boy. So much magic. Shame it's closed. That place.
Nabia is built for you to live in.
Everything seems to be in order. Sorry for the delay.
Nice time for a walk. So wait, what you're telling me is that you're more concerned about the crime.
Come, seekers!
The police treat all augmented people as though we were monsters and criminals.
To become one.
The machine god is a part of us. I'm not sure.
And we are all part of the machine
Because we are all searching for meaning. The machine god is us.
Oh my god.
We are the machine god. The sum of all of us. Join me.
I will see
Together we will bring about the machine god.
both sides.
Do you despair for your... We have suffered long enough.
Maybe they will offer us sanctuary.
Don't count on me. The church is nothing but a cult. No matter.
I was lost like you, friend. Facing persecution and hatred.
Sorry, I cannot help.
Hated myself and my augmented body. No longer. Come kill me.
Adam, what's going on? I didn't expect to hear from you.
I didn't expect my doctor to find dormant augs hidden in my system.
What?
Dormant experimental augs. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Adam, you know the decisions I made for you 2 years ago.
Yes or no?
No! All the work we did on you was above board. You have my word on that. What exactly did you find?
Experimental test augs spliced into my system. Kohler said something about a neodymium shell. Who would have designed something like that?
God, you've got a Titan aug? It's impossible. It was just a concept.
You just said this wasn't you.
It wasn't. The DoD showed me schematics 3 years ago and asked me if I thought it could work. It was designed by somebody else, Vadim Orlov. Megan and I interviewed him once, but he wouldn't have fit in.
These schematics you saw. Don't suppose you kept a copy?
They were classified. I never had a copy. The only reason I even saw them was because the Defense Department valued my opinion. Seraph Industries did good work back in the day. When we signed a schematic, you knew it was solid.
Orlov? Sounds Russian. Who is he? Why wouldn't he have fit in?
He was supposed to be a boy wonder, a neuroscience prodigy. Got his master's degree in Moscow, post-grad in the US. His grades were off the chart, but his theories were sketchy at times. Megan said his ethics were questionable.
Megan? Megan Reed said that? The woman who gave you my DNA to experiment with?
We didn't hire him, Adam. 2 minutes into the interview, and I could tell Orlov didn't like his ideas being challenged by anyone. Least of all, a strong woman like your ex.
I've got to find this guy.
Adam, let me track him down for you. I'm leaving for London soon, but I can make phone calls, reach out to people. Seraph Industries may be gone, but my name still carries weight in certain circles.
Do it. Contact me by infolink when you have something.
I won't let you down on this. I never felt right about losing touch with you after Panchaea. When I heard you'd shown up in Detroit alive a year after everyone thought you were dead. Why didn't you get in touch with us?
I couldn't. Rescue crews pulled me out of the ocean and dumped me in a clinic in Alaska. Nobody knew who I was. For a long time, neither did I.
My God, son, you don't think... I mean, that could have been when...
Find Orlov, Seraph. I've got questions I need answered.
I will, I promise. I'll call you.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Nice time for a walk.
Hello.
We won't push you aside from your audience. We want...
Mějte na paměti, že předměty týkající se augmentací, například biobaterie a jisté nástroje či další augovské příslušenství, mohou být během namátkových kontrol zabaveny. Děkujeme za spolupráci.
Damn thing is always breaking down.
Připadá mi, jako by se město pod tím tlakem hroutilo.
I know. I should have stayed in bed.
So, you've decided you need some practice, huh? You know the best tip my training officer ever gave me? Reload your weapon before it's empty. If you zoom in using iron sight, you'll acquire targets faster. Try it. You'll see the difference. Of course, you know a headshot is the fastest way to take down a target, but watch out for helmets. They'll slow you down. Okay, if your target is wearing armor, you'll do less damage per round. It takes to get through? Let's try armor piercing this time. Right? Remember that, Agent. The right tool for the right situation. Could save your life. Now, let's take a look at the technical targets. These are tougher to disable using regular ammo. They tell me shooting security devices isn't usually the best way to go. You should try to disable them. Once you've disabled a security device, your armor-piercing rounds will take it out more easily. You should always have at least one backup weapon, so you can improvise, adapt, overcome any situation. Hoorah! Seems like you're warmed up now. Let's go over some of the other aspects of your weapons. I like how silencers reduce sound, but the trade-off is less stopping power, less damage per hit. See how much extra ammo you need because of the silencer? Back to normal. But if you need to be quiet, Adam, the silencer's the way to go. Just remember the decreased damage. You know there are several other types of attachments you can use to upgrade your weapons. Keep your eyes open for them.